Hello friends, my name is Katie and I'm part of the education team here at ZooMontana. For today's video, we are doing a quick intro into camouflage, which we all know what that is, right? It's just blending in. But often, camouflage is a lot more complex than we give it credit for. In fact, we're going to make a whole series about it. In today's video, we'll cover what it is, give some examples, and then kind of some theories as to why it exists in the first place. Also known as cryptic coloration, camouflage is a tool for survival or an adaptation and can be any coloration, body shape, or behavior that helps an animal to hide, whether from predators or prey or both. Though there are many different kinds of camouflage, we're going to be covering 4 in this series: concealing coloration, disruptive coloration, mimicry, and disguise. Most of the time, camouflage is made up of the coloration of an animal's fur, feathers, scales, etc. But it can also be made with a physical structure or even done with an outside objects, as is the case when animals use moss or leaves to cover their body to camouflage themselves. When I think about camouflage, an animal that immediately comes to mind is an owl. Many owl species have amazing feather patterns that help them look a lot like tree bark, including Scout, the eastern screech owl. Scout here is an example of what we call a gray morph screech owl. There are 2 morphs, gray and red, and they can even be born into the same nest or clutch of eggs. One current theory as to the reason for the red and gray color morphs, which is only based off of the difference of 1 or 2 genes or alleles, is that it allows the young to disperse to different trees. Typically, eastern screech owls live in mixed forests with both deciduous and with coniferous trees. So the gray morphs usually go for coniferous trees, and the red morphs typically go for deciduous trees. This means that siblings are less likely to compete for nests and for food in the same area, so they don't have to disperse super far. In the wild, the right kind of camouflage can help an animal hide from both predator and prey, which then hopefully means that they'll survive to live and eat and maybe even have babies another day. Another important thing to remember is that most types of camouflage are things that are part of an animal's genetics, right? It's their physical characteristics or an instinctual behavior. It's not something that they come up with on their own. Though of course, covering themselves with moss and leaves, as some animals do, is a learned behavior. This means because it's genetics most of the time, it's not something that they can control. It's not like Scout here could suddenly say, hey, I'm gonna be a red morph owl. He's born as a gray morph and that's how it's going to stay. For a simple example, let's say that we have a population of frogs who have either red spots or purple spots, and they live in a habitat where the ground has some red speckled rocks on it. Let's also say that these frogs are not poisonous, so their main defense is just camouflage. So let's think about it. If there are predators, and we've got frogs with red spots and frogs with purple spots on a red spotted rock ground, which frogs are going to be caught more easily? The purple spotted. You got it. And over time, there may not be enough frogs with the purple spotted genetics to have babies. And so the whole population of frogs could lose the purple spots entirely. This example is a simplified version of natural selection and is one way that camouflage can develop or change in different populations. All right, my friends, now it's your turn. I want you to think of your favorite example of camouflage and then figure out why it helps that animal to survive in their habitat. Why is it a good adaptation for them? Make sure to check out our other videos about the different types of camouflage, and we'll see you next time. Bye!